Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
He was one of two teenagers shot the night of the tree lighting in downtown Detroit. Tonight, he's out of the hospital but still facing a long road to recovery. 10 days have passed since the 15-year-old was shot just blocks from Campus Martius.
With no arrests in the case, his family is coming forward calling for justice. Victor Williams tonight live at Children's Hospital. The teen just released a few hours ago, and you were there, Victor.
Yes, that's right. This was quite the emotional reunion, but we saw that teen wheeled out of Children's Hospital right into the care of loved ones, many of them still asking a lot of answers.
It's a blessing that he's still here with us today, because like I say, the shoe could have been very well turned on the other foot.
Community activist Oliver Gann is happy to be walking out of the hospital with his 15-year-old nephew, one of the teens shot after Detroit's busy tree lighting ceremony.
He got shot in the neck, so he still has fragments between his fourth and fifth vertebrae in his back.
One bullet was only 3.5 centimeters from hitting a main artery.
I don't want to see it happen to anybody else. No one wants to see this happen to anybody else, especially downtown, where families are enjoying themselves at an event.
Apparently, it started with an altercation that led to shots being fired. Family members wanted to be known that the teenage victims were just that, victims of gang violence.
They were a gang, but not my son and his little friends. They're really good school kids, go to school, they play basketball, they do what teens supposed to do.
There were a group of men that had been seen walking around downtown, and one of them had ended up accosting one of his friends. And when my nephew and them turned around to see what was going on with their friend, that's when the shots rang out.
His father, who did not want to go on camera, questions why police weren't able to prevent the shooting and why the accused shooters still have yet to be caught.
I'm wondering where were all the cops at? And I know it was busy down there that day, but these guys were all over the internet saying that they were going to do this.
Just to put faces up and say we have people of interest, that's not enough when it happened in downtown Detroit, of all places.
Either way, Gant's nonprofit organization, Thousand Strong, is adding to Crime Stoppers as reward in hopes of finding justice.
Whatever Crime Stoppers is putting up, Thousand Strong, we're going to match it. They just hoping for some justice, that these guys are caught and taken off the street and things of that nature.
Now, the other teen that was shot is expected to be okay. DPD, in the meantime, is saying that this is an open investigation that they are taking very seriously as far as anyone who was out there during that tree lighting ceremony. You guys are asked to contact Crime Stoppers and leave an anonymous tip at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Let's hope someone does exactly that. All right, Victor.
Well, more answers tonight into that police chase that started last night in Dearborn, then ended in a shootout with police in Detroit. Officers then discovered a woman's body in the car's trunk. And tonight, state police have identified the remains as a missing mother out of Tennessee. Pamela Osborne live near the Dearborn-Detroit border, where that chase ended. And Pam, this ends a 10-day search for that missing mom.
Karen, this really was a horrible, violent ending for that 31-year-old Tennessee mother. We're told that her family that was desperate to find her, too heartbroken to speak tonight after learning it was, in fact, Eleni Casa, who was in the trunk of a car that crashed into this home just yesterday. Monday night, Michigan State Police confirmed the Casa family's worst fear. 31-year-old Eleni Casa, who went missing on November 18th, was dead. Her body discovered Sunday in the trunk of this mangled black Charger. Investigators say Casa's girlfriend, 36-year-old Dominique Hardwick, was behind the wheel. Authorities in Tennessee had been looking for the Charger and Casa. An exhaustive search in the week following her disappearance turned up nothing. The license plate to that Charger later hit in Ohio, then in Oakland County, Michigan. Dearborn police spotted the car Sunday and attempted to stop it, but Hardwick took off, eventually crashing into this home at Normile and Tireman in Detroit. Shots were fired soon after the crash, and state police say an autopsy determined Hardwick died at the scene from what appears to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Still so many questions tonight. Police in Murfreesboro say their investigation led them to believe that this was some sort of a domestic dispute, that the two got into an argument before both of them disappeared. But we still don't know how exactly Casa died or was killed here. That's something we're working and waiting to find out about. I should also mention there was another woman, a third woman, a passenger in that car. She was taken to the hospital. Police are questioning her in hopes of trying to make sense of all of this. But how do you really, when there is a little girl who will never see her mother again? Reporting live in Detroit, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Oh, such a horrific story, Pamela. We appreciate it. Thank you. Well, two former members of the Oxford School Board claiming today officials at Oxford High actually ignored a policy aimed at preventing the mass shooting that killed 4 students 1 year ago.
Former board president Tom Donnelly and former treasurer Corey Bailey say the district failed to follow a threat assessment policy that it adopted way back in 2004. They claim that policy would have called for the confessed shooter in the case, Ethan Crumbley, to be sent home rather than being sent back to class over the disturbing writings and drawings that he did just hours before the shooting. Donnelly and Bailey say they felt pressured to stay silent about the issue. That's why they ultimately resigned. Here's some of today's news conference and reaction from the families of 2 students who were killed last November 30th.
Tom and I would later learn that the school had not put this playbook to practice at any of our buildings. We had been informed that those responsible for safety have raised concerns over the lack of training for quite some time, but those concerns were ignored.
Without full transparency, how can we prevent anything? It's beyond agonizing for us to have to wait a full year to have the details of what led up to this, what happened to our children.
I think this is hopefully going to kind of break the dam down a little bit and get some water flowing, because nothing's really been flowing.
In a statement released tonight, the Oxford School District says, quote, Mr. Donnelly is correct in acknowledging that the district had appropriate safety policies in place since 2004. He also confirmed that multiple staff members received threat assessment training before the November 30th tragedy. Many of the board members' allegations show a misunderstanding of the facts. The details regarding the training and use of threat assessment procedures in advance of the November 30th tragedy will be discussed at length by members of the staff who implemented the policies prior to November 30th, 2021. Into the statement. It concludes by saying the district will fully disclose all relevant information in upcoming legal proceedings. Meantime, there are plans to build a memorial in honor of Hannah St. Juliana and her fellow classmates who were killed in the shooting.
Yes, the plan. Hannah's family announced that plan to break ground on Hannah's garden next spring. It will be located at the Seymour Lake Township Park in Oxford. The garden will be divided into 4 sections, one for each of the teens. The plan calls for a central plaza with 4 pavilions, a water feature, boardwalk, and a 4-sided sculpture honoring each teen who lost their life that day.
Now, in just hours, the school shooter will be back in court for a monthly hearing to decide whether he should be kept at Oakland County Jail or moved to a juvenile facility. Ethan Crumbley has a hearing by law each month because of his age. Last month, the 16-year-old, of course, pleaded guilty to all 24 charges against him, including murder and terrorism. Detroit police are looking for a man wanted for shooting and killing another man following an argument over, of all things, an elevator in Greektown.
This happened Sunday around 2 in the morning on the 8th floor of the 400 Monroe building. Police say this man shot and killed a 29-year-old man who did not hold the elevator door open for him. If you have information, maybe you recognize him, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Meantime, in Midtown, Detroit police are looking for these 2 people wanted in connection with a deadly shooting outside of a popular bar. It happened Saturday about 1:40 in the morning. Police say the man seen here fired shots outside 3rd Street bar, shooting and killing a 34-year-old man. The suspect was wearing a New York jacket with a hooded sweatshirt. The woman pictured is also a person of interest, so if you do recognize them, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP.
President Biden is going to be in Michigan tomorrow visiting a new semiconductor manufacturing plant up in Bay City. The president expected to deliver a speech on creating manufacturing jobs and rebuilding the economy. The plant is SK Siltron. It just finished a $300 million expansion. Now, the president's visit is not open to the public, but we will have a crew there. We'll be following it tomorrow.